Mary Shelley's Frankenstein. Chapter 22. Victor Frankenstein and his father Alfonso arrive in Paris. Victor is tired and needs to rest, so they decide to stay in Paris. Alfonso wants Victor to go and meet people as he thinks it will make him feel better. Victor does not feel that he deserves this because he feels that he has murdered dear William, Justine and Henry. He did not explain the truth to his father, and what he did explain to his father took to be part of Victor's deranged state of mind. Slowly, Victor begins to feel calmer. A few days before leaving Paris, Victor receives a letter from Elizabeth. In the letter, Elizabeth says that she wants to know if Victor still wants to get married. She asks him if he is in love with someone else. Victor decides that despite the threats made by the monster, he will go ahead and marry Elizabeth. This will please his father and make Elizabeth happy, and after all, he's in love with Elizabeth. Victor writes to Elizabeth and tells her that he does want to get married, but he has a secret that only he can tell her once they are married. Victor and Alfonso return to Geneva to meet Elizabeth. Victor and Elizabeth are married. Victor attempts unsuccessfully to put the monster's terrible threat to kill Elizabeth to the back of his mind. They go on their honeymoon to Lake Como. Victor recalls that this is the last time he remembers being truly happy. Characters: Victor Frankenstein, the creator of the monster. Alfonso Frankenstein, father of Victor. Elizabeth Frankenstein, Victor's fiancée. Speaker: Victor tells his story from his perspective. He includes letters from Elizabeth in the narrative. Relationships: the relationship between Victor and his father is strained but caring. Victor's father worries about Victor and tries to help him, but can't understand what is wrong. Victor wants to tell his father everything and confess, but can't bring himself to put this burden of knowledge upon his father. Victor loves and wants to marry Elizabeth, but is terrified that the monster will carry out his threat to hurt her. He cannot explain this to Elizabeth, and because of this, their relationship is difficult. Elizabeth feels shut out by Victor and feels he has met someone else, as this is the only explanation she can give for his distant behaviour. Prometheus myth. In his short marriage, Victor is tortured by a small glimpse of the possible happiness he could have achieved had he not created the monster. Those were the last moments of my life which I enjoyed the feeling of happiness. Romantic landscape. The beauty of their honeymoon location provides a calm for the newly married couple, and contrast to the horror to come for Elizabeth. The pleasant banks of Montéligre, and at a distance surmounting all, the beautiful Mont Blanc. Howhand. The sun and the heavens, who have viewed my operations, can bear witness of my truth. Victor says this to his father when he's trying to explain that he's responsible for the deaths of William, Justine and Henry. Although Victor is unable to tell his father the complete truth about the monster, he implores his father to believe him. Second quote. Those were the last moments of my life during which I enjoyed the feeling of happiness. Victor says this following his marriage to Elizabeth. He hints at the horror to come in the form of Elizabeth's murder. He also tells us that despite his fears and worry about the monster, he was able to feel some happiness. This picture reminds me of how Victor was feeling when he arrived in Paris. A picture to complement this chapter.